issues and bring you expert insights. Their caskets were lowered into the earth to the mournful strains of the last post. They died as heroes, and their nation honored them with full military rights. They've been promoted. Their names will live on even as we say shame to death. At the ceremony, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces announced the creation of an education fund to support the families of the 8 fallen heroes. But should this fund only be reserved solely for these ones? Or should it be extended to the children of all others who have died in the line of duty? In a bid to tackle the Galamsey menace head-on, the government has announced a no-nonsense approach, as was revealed by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. But will this new strategy prove to be the game changer that Ghana needs? Or will it falter like previous efforts? The opposition New Patriotic Party has also made a dramatic move. It says they would not take part in the Tamale by-election, citing the tragic circumstances surrounding the death of the MP and Minister for Environment, Dr. Murtala Muhammad. But what does this really mean for Ghana's democracy? We'll examine the potential implications and what this decision could mean for the country's political landscape. And in a matter of touching faith and governance, the presidential envoy for interfaith and economical or ecumenical relations has called on all spiritual leaders to channel any prophecy or revelation of national significance directed to the presidency, especially for those concerning high-profile leaders, governance or national security issues. Is this a matter of prudent coordination or an intrusion into the spiritual independence of the spiritual few? Then we will touch on multi-choice. Will multi-choice Ghana buckle down under the public pressure and reduce their subscription fees following the minister's communication and pledge to ensure a resolution? What's next for Ghana's pay TV landscape? This is your favorite and most authoritative program, Current Agenda, your Saturday morning companion. And we ask you that as you enjoy your mug of tea, stay with us whilst we dissect and look into these issues. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Welcome back. So our Current Agenda is proudly sponsored by the Bank of Africa, Ghana. Bank of Africa understands that we all need some financial quick fix every now and then, whether it is school fees, replacing that old refrigerator, or fixing that car engine to get back on the road. The Bank of Africa Quick Fix Loan Package was made with you in mind. Seize the opportunity and let your tough times make way for that soft life you've been dreaming about. Visit any of the Bank of Africa branches near you today and enjoy unbeatable low interest rate, flexible terms, and straightforward application process. You can call Bank of Africa on 0302 429 333 or 0302 249690. Or you can chat Fafa at bankofafricaghana.com for more information and for terms and conditions applying or concerning this product. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. Well, this morning, to help me digest and discuss the issue issues. Dr. Lawrence Tetteh, he's the president, founder of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach. These are the panel members to join me this morning to discuss the issues that have been mentioned earlier. We ask viewers to stay tuned whilst we get ready to be with you in your homes. We'll be right back after this break.
Yabgam simnyala ban shadam pierna kamale karmal bukata namna zamanu tambo zanjanda til yabgam simpulo na wanda so
daga cikin muhimman rawa na azo a gani da Hausawa suka taka a cikin wannan ƙasa shine kafa zangonnai da suka zama gimshiki na cibiyoyin kasuwanci da fatauci. Ko shakka babu shi ke karfafa ingantacciyar tattalin arziki da kuma karfafa al'adun gargajiya.
Jutogbarudo kokodi yakatoi enyaiba angau hana mona chishipo yiga chirodovania watan atrangau azunububuwe
sukuu no yako buke adwunu no mara na bi sukuu no bara okemu de bi ma donwane e ba waya okay agreken more ngokwa ne ebonu jiman e ma ya le wiade ne mwane.
Adult education, showing from Monday to Saturday at 5 p.m. only on GTV.
Meet Kwame. He's not just any Kwame. He's Kwame the TV license legend. Kwame knows that by paying his TV license, he's supporting GBC, our public service broadcaster, and he's making a real difference. Kwame's contribution helps bring our communities closer together. Because of Kwame and others like him, we will all have access to amazing TV programs, educational content, plus broadcasting infrastructures are maintained and our culture is beautifully promoted. So GBC is asking all to respond to this civic obligation and pay your TV license fee. For individuals, it's 3 CDs per month or 36 CDs per year. If you have multiple sets, meaning 2 or more in your household, it's 60 CDs per year. For commercial institutions, it's your number of TV sets by 36 CDs per year, and you pay the invoiced amount directly to GBC. So let's all take a moment to appreciate Kwame, the TV license legend. Wherever you are, just dial star 447 star 333 hash and follow the prompt. It's your civic duty, so pay your TV license today. GBC, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana.
Hi, this is GBC Client Service.
Hello, thank you for calling.
GBC provides you the platform to amplify your brand reach. When you advertise on our 7 TV channels
and 18 regional and district radio stations across the country,
please reach sales department at sales@gbcghanaonline.com and telephone numbers 0303 959604 and 0303 959605.
For all customer care issues, reach us by email care@gbcghanaonline.com and on telephone 030-3959-605 and 030-3959-606.
GBC, still the most authentic voice.
Tribute by the Chief of the Defense Staff in honor of the late Defense Minister and the 3 gallant soldiers of the Ghana Armed Forces. The Ghana Armed Forces fraternity stands in solemn mourning. The late 3 gallant crew men, Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manen Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Adomensa, who tragically lost their lives in the unfortunate incident that occurred on Wednesday, 6th August 2025. Dr. Omani Boama's short tenure as Minister for Defense was marked by transformative leadership, innovation, and unwavering commitment to excellence. As part of a broader agenda of resetting Ghana, he advocated and implemented policies that sought to raise the standards of the Ghana Armed Forces. Paramount among these were the retooling and operationalization of the Ghana Armed Forces, championing merit-based recruitment and enlistment of service personnel, bridging the accommodation deficit gap of the Ghana Armed Forces, revitalizing of the Defense Industries Holding Company Limited, DHOC, and finally prioritizing the welfare and healthcare delivery, including mental health of troops and veterans. He was not just a boss or leader, he was a role model, and to some, a mentor. A first encounter with him was full of quality of thoughts, depth of industry with every spoken word, which he carried with grace and aura. As we mourn his passing, though shocked, we take solace in the indelible mark that he left on the Ghana's defense architecture and the lives he had touched. Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala was a pilot whose operational capability combined advanced piloting skills and deep technical knowledge. He was commissioned into the operations branch of the Ghana Air Force in 2014. After his ab initio pilot training in the United States, he was awarded both a private and commercial rotorcraft license and an advanced instrument ratings certification. His integration of flight safety protocols into operational planning enhanced mission success that contributed to the Ghana Armed Forces combat preparedness. Flying Officer Manan Chum Ampedu was an exceptional young pilot. He was commissioned into the operations branch of the Ghana Air Force in 2021. After a distinguished performance at the Royal Air Force Training Academy in the United Kingdom, he demonstrated outstanding adaptability across diverse mission profiles. Coupled with precision in navigation and flight execution, his meticulous approach to mission planning, briefing, and post-mission analysis reflected a deep understanding of operational procedures. Highly proficient in absorbing complex tactical concepts and translating them into flawless execution, he was a dependable co-pilot and a clear prospect for future command in air operations. Sergeant Mensah Ado Ernest was a highly proficient aircraft technician whose engineering expertise was vital to the operational availability and mission readiness of the Z-9 helicopter fleet of the number 8 helicopter wing. Enlisted in 2011 and certified in 2016, his dynamic skills, adherence to airworthiness standards, and ability to execute time-sensitive maintenance tasks under operational conditions directly sustain the Ghana Air Force operational capabilities. He was also an effective mentor, developing junior technicians to maintain high technical and operational standards. To the bereaved families, I extend my deepest condolences. As the bugle sounds and the night holds its silence, we salute them. Dr. Omani Boama, Squadron Leader Peter Anala, Flying Officer Ampedu, and Sergeant Mensah, brave men who served with pride but fell with honor. Their skills and dedication will continue to influence our training, maintenance, and operational doctrines for years to come. They will be sorely missed, but fondly remembered. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Thank you. Okay.
Life of Honorable Dr. Kofi Omani Boama. When peace like a river attended my way, through whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well. It is well. It is well with my soul. Kofi B, as I affectionately called you, we were destined to be together. Though I was not a medical student, fate brought us together on that fateful day when we boarded the medical school bus. Our friendship started and was nothing short of love and adventure. Our night walks from my home to buy kenkey and fish and vice versa. I looked forward to visiting you in school so we could embark on our love walk to buy kenkey and fish. Thus, buying kenkey and fish together became our hallmark. In fact, I saw a father in you because you were the exact replica of my dad. You also confirmed that when you met my dad the first time, you knew you had a partner for life. I had no doubt you would be a loving and perfect father to our children. You were truly God sent. Your commitment and love were such that you proposed we got married on my birthday, and we have always had a double celebration on my birthdays, which I was looking forward to this year also. When we started having children, you were nothing short of a wonderful father. You were a great source of hope to me and the children. Despite your busy schedule as a medical doctor and later in your political roles, you either bathed the children every morning or dressed them up whilst I bathed them. You were their favorite teacher because you knew all their syllables back to back. You always had a strict timetable for their private studies, yet made room for play and adventure. You were truly a family man, a definition of a genuine person with a pure heart of gold. In our years of marriage, you always asked, Abner Rita, what will you do when I am not around? I never answered. Until today, I don't have an answer. I will, with God's help, take care of mommy and the 3 kids. Knowing who you are, I believe you'll be looking down on us to guide us through from the heavens. Kofi B, thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving the children. Thank you for loving my family and all who came to know you. God be with you till we meet again. Rest in power, my love. Love always from your one and only Abner Rita.
Here. The storm may roar without me. My heart may low be laid. But God is round about me. And can I be dismayed? I take these comfort. Words from the Methodist hymn book. Should I say you lied? No, because I know if you had control over life, you would choose to live 1,000 years just to make me happy. Anyone who knew you attests to the exceptional humility you had, hard work and pure dedication to service, earning you the name Ejumara. The Z9 helicopter was like your first child, and in every conversation you'd find a way to bring it up. Would spend long nights reading and researching on how to care for it. Amusingly, I suggested we get married on your birthday, 5th July, so you would never forget our anniversary. But life had other plans. Now I am the one who would never forget that day. Dada Kobe. What would I do with all these memories that lay so fresh in my heart and mind? Though we were married for just a month, the few years of knowing you were undoubtedly the best moments of my life. Your love for God was unmatched, and I affectionately called you my apostle. Your favorite Bible verse, Isaiah chapter 54, verse 10. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord, who has compassion on you. Manche, it's been days, and you have not called at 5 a.m. for us to pray. On the morning of the Wednesday, I called you and I told you that I woke up very sad. I do not know why. Immediately, the first solution to everything, which was prayer, was what you suggested. You prayed, and you said you had a flight to Obuasi, and you'll be back. I'm still waiting. I do not know for how long I would continue waiting, but I'll still wait. Shame on you, death. You have not won. Christ has, because Ernest died knowing him as his Lord and Savior. I was oblivious that death would take you so soon. But meeting you has shown me that angels truly exist in human form. You will forever be my hero, forever in my thoughts, never to die. continue to rest in the bosom of our Lord till we meet again. Goodbye, my love.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, kindly be seated. Your Excellency, Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Your Excellency, Lordina Dramani Mahama. Your Excellency, Jeremiah Kwan-Kum, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Your Excellencies, former Presidents and Vice Presidents of the Republic of Ghana, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, His Lordship, the Acting Chief Justice, the Chief of Staff and senior government officials, senior service and security chiefs, members of the diplomatic corps, our bereaved families, fellow mourners, distinguished guests, my dear countrymen and women. Today's events conclude the state funeral for the eight officers and personnel who lost their lives in the tragic helicopter crash 25. Though I'm sure that individually and collectively, our nation will continue to mourn as we find ways to hold tightly the memories of these men and to honor their legacies. There is no making sense of what happened. Despite whatever technical reasons or official explanations an investigation will yield, a loss of this magnitude and in this manner will never make sense to the grieving heart. What we can do, each of us in our own way, as we try to come to terms with this tragic loss, is to move in the direction of peace within our communities and families, having been reminded of how fragile life can be. Also, we can embrace the vision we shared with our fallen brothers for a stronger and more prosperous homeland. What we can do together as a nation is make sure that the lives of those who remain, specifically the children of our 8 brothers, do not become the collateral damage of this tragedy. Grief can sometimes leave us feeling helpless and disempowered, but we're far from that. So it is with all this in mind that I would like today to announce the government's decisions to honor the service of these individuals and secure the futures of those they left behind. I humbly request the spirit of compassion that is the hallmark of our nation for these bereaved families. Promotions in our armed forces are never given lightly, and posthumous promotions are the highest mark of respect for duty performed even unto death. Accordingly, I have approved the following. Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala is promoted to the rank of Wing Commander. Flying Officer Manan Chum Ampedu is promoted to the rank of Flight Lieutenant. Sergeant Ernest Adomensa is promoted to the rank of Flight Sergeant. These are not just symbolic gestures, they represent the rightful place these officers have earned in our Republic's roll of honor and the benefit.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned to us. Well, as I said, in studio, I have with me Richard Ahiagwa. He's the Director of Communications for the NPP. Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
Right. And I have with me also Henry Haruna Asante, a leading member of the Movement for Change. Good morning, Henry.
Yeah, good morning.
Right. Yet to join us is Hamza Suhini, member of the National Democratic Congress's communication team, and also Bernard Mona, a former flag bearer of the PNC. And as announced earlier, we'll be joined by Kofi Kapito on Zoom. Awula Sewa also on Zoom. Kofi Kapito is the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency, and Awula Sewa is an eco-conscious citizen. And then Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, the president and founder of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach, would also join us on Zoom. Okay, so gentlemen, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Right, so yesterday we had to lay to rest the last or the remaining 6 of the 8 earlier in the week. The 2 who are Muslims were laid to rest, and then yesterday we had the funeral service for all 8, but the burial service for the remaining 6. Quickly, what's your? I'll start with you, Harry. What's your general impression of the funeral, the organization, the mood, and everything? There's tributes that were read by the family members of the departed. What's your general impression?
Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to, first of all, express my gratitude to you for at least inviting us to discuss this very important issue. It's a national issue that concerns all of us. Let me even put it worldwide, because when it happened to one country, naturally, death is inevitable. It goes all around. I will start on this note, cautiously. Being a Muslim, the concept of Islamic tenets does not, in a way, without looking down upon any religious instinct. A friend of mine asked me, why is it that when there's death, you Muslims seem not to care? Okay? Yeah, people keep asking, you seem not to have empathy for the dead. I said, no, that's not the issue. We're human. We have the feeling. Who will lose a beloved one and may not feel it? You naturally feel it. But the belief in that religion gives us a concept that from the earth, and this world is not a place to be. It's full of misery, full of anxiety. So if there's a better place for you to go, and your Father who created you has taken you up earlier, why do you wail? Okay? We feel the pinch, but we don't wail. I don't suppose wailing in the Quranic tenets clearly means you are not happy with what God has done. So this is just a brief on the Islamic concept. Be it as it may, it's a very painful situation to lose your life through these circumstances. Naturally, every human being with blood flowing through the stream will have the pinch. I had if I should tell you specifically, ever since this tragic issue occurred, believe you me, I've never been myself. And I believe many people have also not been themselves. You keep asking yourself, or I keep asking myself, it could have been me, it could have been anybody. Anybody could have fallen into this trajectory. So what would have been the consequence if it was me? I'm gone. What of my family? What happened to my immediate, the Nicholas family, who take care of my kids, my wife, and then the trauma? But all said and done, no one can challenge nature. That is a reality on the ground. You will naturally go one day. Looking at the program, since the demise of these heroes, the program yesterday is very symbolic. It tells me something, and I believe it tells a lot of people something, that living a decent life and a life of impunity would naturally lead you to somewhere better. You become a hero in your own country, and I believe if you are a hero here, naturally, it transcends onto the Creator. What people say about you in life might naturally literally translate, because God is a loving God. He loves all of us. This also brings to fore the concept of why this? Why should you die through this circumstance? It's mind-boggling. But again, both the scriptures have made it to understand that none of us can challenge nature. It's the speech that he delivered, a very solemn speech. I don't want to go back to the messages from the family. Okay, it's so mind-boggling. I can't stand it. I just couldn't listen to what the immediate family were saying. You could see ghost people all over everybody's body, probably me, and that clearly tells you that the pain that people are going through, the pain and the challenges the family is going through, probably with you and I, who were there to solidarize with them. After solidarizing with them, what next? I will go home, and then within 2 days, I begin to eat. That is the difference between what I'm feeling and what the wife and the immediate family are feeling. That is a dichotomy. The president made it all. I listened to the president and what he has said. You know why I have a challenge? The president has set up a fund, okay, to make sure that they look at the children, the family, immediate family. I wish it had been probably the Nicholas family. If you talk of a family within our concept, are we talking of a Nicholas or an extended family? That is where I have a little.
I mean, we are going to discuss into details of that, this educational fund after this general comment. Absolutely. To try to understand, like you're saying, absolutely, what exactly does it mean by family and all the associated issues.
Interesting. Right? But without much ado, I think the president has said it all. Again, if that is going to happen, I hope it becomes a national concept whereby it doesn't change with a change of a regime. That's a very critical issue we need to look at. If we are not careful, this is the government. He made this proposal. The president has said it, because I'm saying it to briefly recollect in the somewhere in the 1982, when the Black Stars were promised houses, okay, if they win the African Cup, and they did, and there was a change of administration, it became a fiasco. So I hope this will not be a 9-day wonder, and then let us try to legalize it, make it something that becomes statutory, so that whichever government is in power within the not too distant future, then we continue from where we left off. Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah. Well, I say good morning to our viewers, to your good self. I've been aware of your program for a few weeks now. My first time being on here. So I want to congratulate and commend you. I get very good reports from people from my party who are on the platform. And good morning to my senior brother and other panelists who are yet to join us. It was a very reflective day for me yesterday. Connecting it to what happened on that fateful Wednesday was a day like every other day. Like today, we're here, nobody knows what is going to happen the next minute. And so seeing that the reality of what happened on that day was fully before the nation, the efforts to bring closure for all of us as a people, as a government, as a party, and as family and individuals. All those layers yesterday were in their own way grieving and hopefully seeing closure by close of the day yesterday once the caskets were lowered. was very reflective, and I was wondering what today was going to be for all of us as a country, for the government, for the family and the individuals, especially I'm talking about the nucleus family, what life today after what was supposed to be a closure yesterday, what would life be for them? The statements that were made by the various speakers yesterday, especially those coming from the children, the wives, were very touching, and then again highlights the loss, the magnitude of the loss that they were experiencing. So for me, yesterday was a very difficult day, but mostly because I was trying to imagine myself in the shoes of those who, after the day was over, are going to live daily, if not hourly, with the loss and the void that has created. All of us will feel it at the national level. The government, the NDC government will feel it, the role they were playing. Individuals who were directly working with them, close to them, will feel it in certain ways. But those who will feel it the most in all dimensions are the family, the wife and children. And then I was trying to imagine myself in their place, and it was just too grave, you know, a loss. And I just want to wish them all the strength they need to be able to go through such a loss. No words can make it feel any better. And then perhaps only time can minimize the impact and replace their loss over time for them. So for me, it was a very emotional, reflective day, imagining how going forward the government and members of this administration will be able to find the strength to carry on. That's also a place that I think that I was wondering and hoping that it would not have that psychological impact on them, such that undertaking the tasks that are assigned to respective individuals appointed by the president would not recoil, but then will find the confidence to engage the business of state and not feel that what if, and that psychological weight must be lifted off them. I don't know what the plan of the government is, but people in that space, as much as the family, they need some psychological counseling to understand that this is an accident, it's not the norm. And so if you're asked to go and deputize or replace somebody, you're not being sent off to go and die. You're literally in line of duty and service as something you should do and have a full assurance that everything will be okay, notwithstanding what has happened to our 8 brothers. I think that is a big loss for the state, and we must continue to process this the right way, such that with the right lessons are learned, so that this thing never happens. And of course, this leans heavily on the investigation that will happen, to the extent that we'll be thorough with it, we'll be truthful with it, so that the findings can lead us somewhere to preventing something like this from happening ever again to anybody in any capacity in our country, trying to do their best to advance the lot of Ghanaians.
Thank you. So Henry, yes, so now we can come back to the fund. So the president announced that a fund will be set up for the families of this 8. We don't know whether it's going to be one consolidated fund for all of them, or whether it's going to be in the families. Like you said, we don't have the fine details, whether by families we mean just the nuclear family or the extended family, what exactly it means by that. But my major concern is, to what end would we keep doing this, set up a fund? I remember in 2017, when Major Mahama died, the president set up a similar fund. There was a state seed fund of 500,000 cedis, and the president himself donated 50,000 cedis. If I remember correctly, the fund was supposed to be managed by let me double check. There were some people that had been named to be the ones to manage the fund. I'll probably get the names later, but they had some MPP representation in there, and it had some NDC representation in the, yes. So there was Mrs. Grace Bediakom, a former government statistician. There was Mr. Seth Achampong of the NPP. I'm sure Richard would know him. And then there was Mr. James Agauga of the NDC. And both Achampong was in the majority and James was in the minority. We don't know what has happened to that fund. We've never had an opportunity to listen to the wife of Major Mahama. We hear of another fund. Should we only be doing this fund when it's a funeral or it's a disaster of this magnitude? Or we should be considering every family member of people who have died in the line of duty? What do you think?
Yeah, quite interesting. As I raised earlier on, it is a very, very dicey issue. As I said, listening to my president, it's quite intriguing. I was asking myself, what does the president mean by this fund? As you rightly pointed out here, the fund, is it just an ad hoc measure? Okay? Or is going to be a... Here, I made that such funds were set up. And you've added a bite to it. Our former president, and Nana Akufo-Addo, set up similar fund for Major Mahama. What has happened to it? Again, is it just for such victims? Are we looking at such victims? Recently, 16 school kids died in Kumasi Koko. Am I right? They are equally Ghanaians. I don't know whether we are looking at the caliber of people who go through such tendencies to be considered, or it should be nationalistic in nature. If we are looking at the profile of such people to set up a fund for them, I sincerely believe that somebody will argue that, yeah, they were on cause of national duty. All right? So such people should be seen as heroes. These kids, 16 years and below, we call it leaders in the society, they perished. They are buried angry, they are buried, and it's gone. Nothing. Good. I don't begrudge what the president said. It's a good idea. But the question still remains. Okay? Is it just an ad hoc, or is going to be a continuity of purposes? I believe that in such situation, we need to look at it critically and then try to evaluate what will be the outcome of what we are doing. It shouldn't be just cosmetic. The president has set up a fund to cater for that. So must we always be in a situation of this nature to have our kids or our children dependent to be funded by the state? In fact, there's more critical issues to this than you and I are talking about today. Somebody will sit up and say, oh, the president has made a very wonderful assertion, and I love it personally, but there's more to it. They should come out and clarify what exactly this fund is going to do for the children of the probably qualify to benefit from that gesture. I must be in certain class. Okay? Otherwise, I don't qualify to fall in that tendency. We should be very, very mindful. I was in Japan years ago, and I was listening to they have a system, you know, the heroes of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay? It was nationalistic in nature. Okay? Some elements within are catered for by the state till date. But they make sure that all those who suffered the devastation equally have a statue in their favor. And to nurture them and to make the world know how they also sacrifice for the world. If you look at Germany, you realize these heroes, okay, though victims of circumstances, okay, are also equally revered and honored at a certain point in time. There's no selective amnesia within that concept that these were the people who suffered most of the death. Every death is death. Whether it's by fire, by sea, naturally, they are all heroes in their state. So, in as much as I support the president's view and assertion, we have to look at it holistically. And if we're going to have it as a national policy, to look at these circumstances and then naturally try to help. With that much ado, we also need to look at circumstances that may probably can avert this kind of situation. We can challenge nature. But then sometimes we seem to blame nature where it is human error. Okay? It could be human error. It could be mechanical. Any other thing can happen. But then at the end of the day, as I said earlier on, as a Muslim, I believe in everything that happens. The Quran has taught me one particular thing. It says, "Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut." Every living soul shall die. So that it will not become a 9-day wonder. We just forget it after here.
Thank you. Richard, before Richard, viewers, I would like to introduce our guest who's joined Hamza, as I mentioned earlier. Hamza, welcome.
Thank you, my brother, and good morning to you and my colleagues in the studio, and of course, our cherished viewers out there.
Okay, so I'll come back to you, Hamza. So, Richard, as I mentioned earlier, your government in I think 2017 set up a fund like this. Is it the case that this is the order? Once there is a national disaster of this nature, let's announce that there is a fund, people come and contribute into that fund, and then that's it. Is that the order? Should something bigger be done than this? Should we look wider than this?
Well, the idea by the president to set up the fund is well-intentioned, and I think that that ought to be commended. And earlier, when I was speaking, I was careful to segregate the feelings that would have post the burial. All of us have gotten closure from yesterday, but some people's closure will take a long time in coming, and most especially the family. At the national level, we'll try to move on. I'm sure the government started working yesterday. They're going to work themselves out of it gradually. But the family, they have a long road to walk. Even if your faith gives you that assurance that it is a better place or it's a place all of us will go, the fiscal loss is real. And so they're going to deal with that for some time. And in dealing with that, how do they do it? There's logistical constraints that would come to play, the void that is left by these breadwinners. And it happens in our society, you know, men predominantly are breadwinners, even though women are playing key roles now. You still depend on our fathers to meet that responsibilities at the houses. And so with these people taken out of play, the void they have left, the gaps in terms of funding, in terms of emotional support and presence and all of that, the family will feel it. And so the government, through the president's announcement, is finding ways to at least support and fill the financial gap that is created with their absence. And I think it's well-intentioned. We need to support it. And to address some of the concerns of my senior brother, I think the president yesterday indicated that in 30 days they'll come out with the modalities and how this is going to be structured. So I suppose that we would hope that come out, and I have every confidence that they will be thorough about it. The president sounded genuine in his announcement, and so I'm sure that everything will be done to ensure that we don't leave them after the burial to fend for themselves. At least we have that responsibility to them, given what assignment they were on. They were clearly in service of the country, but for that, they will be here today. And so the least we can do as a country in seeing that we too find some closure in our own moving on to contribute to ensuring that they don't carry all the burden after their families have died in line of duty and in serving the state. I think that the least we can do is to support the President's Fund and to ensure that there is that financial comfort provided for them, that whilst they deal with the physical absence, these other financial constraints do not weigh them down and worsen their situation. If that happens, their moving on will be more difficult, perhaps will not happen lightly for them. So I think that is a good thing. As per the history of establishing those funds, which you referenced, the 2017 one, I'll be honest, I haven't followed that in any real detail, so I'm not able to tell you clearly what happened with that. But just taking it on face value, I can tell you that what it was supposed to do has been done, except in President Mohammed's announcement yesterday talks about how there will be some regular reporting to give account to the public how the monies are being used and being disbursed. So maybe that will be a difference. But I believe that what was established for purposes of supporting the family of our brother Maxwell Mahama worked in the absence of any real evidence as to how it worked. I believe that the intention was clear, and I would want to believe that it served the purpose and still is serving a purpose, and hoping that this will be one of such initiative by the state to have gone to support people who have lost their breadwinners in line of duty, and do so in a manner that is dignifying, that is supportive in ways that helps their moving on and contending life without them going forward. So I'll just rest assured and guess that when in 30 days will be sometime, the President was saying it from yesterday, but September 15th, thereabout, we'll see the documentation. And then maybe then we can comment on it more constructively. But I have every confidence that we'll do a thorough job, knowing the gravity of loss that we've all felt.
Hamza. Yes. So, as Richard mentioned, this is being done because these people suffered what they've suffered in their line of duty to the state. What about firefighters? What about other policemen who suffer similar fate in the line of duty? Those who go chasing armed robbers and they are shot. Probably does not get such an attention for a state burial. What funds are available for them? Should this just be for this, or is it time we look at having a fund for all such happenings in the country, for people who risk their lives for the state?
First of all, once again, let me express my condolences to His Excellency the President and the entire government and the good people of the Republic of Ghana. And of course, to the immediate family members of the deceased. It's been quite a difficult period, not just for the state, but importantly for the families of these gallant servants of our country. And like Richard indicated, you see, for us as a republic, I'm sure yesterday brought closure to the ceremonies, but unfortunately, the families would have to continue from this stage. In that, many of us who have lost our parents, we know how it feels. We can appreciate the kind of difficulties that they are likely to encounter on this journey, sleepless nights that they are likely to endure. This is the time that the loss will hit hard on them because the nation is moving on. So apart from things of this nature, it is also important that those of us who can still make it a point to visit them from time to time, we should encourage that. It is not just about the finances. The presence to help them go through this painful loss is something we should not take lightly. And for us Muslims, it is the reason why we don't take these things for granted. And it also emphasizes the role of family and the religion in times of this nature. So the imams that are pretty close to these families, pastors that are close to these families, this is the time for them to give them that special kind of attention to help them transition at least into a life without their respective partners and parents. It is very, very important, and we must not take those things, this particular period, for granted. But having said that, when it comes to the announcement by His Excellency President Mahama of the establishment of a fund, I will join Richard once again in commending His Excellency President Mahama for that particular initiative. But like I did 2 or 3 days ago, my only plea is that it is important for us to give it a legal impetus, in the sense that it must not end with the celebration of life of these 8 gallant servants and what it will do for their respective families. It must open up the discussion for us to expand the frontiers of how in the collective we can take care of people who lose their lives in the line of service. I know as a matter of fact that many of these state institutions already have mechanisms in place to ensure that they take care of people who lose their lives in the line of service. So it is not something new when it comes to the institutional level. But concerns that might come up probably has to do with how these institutional mechanisms adequately take care of families of those who have lost their lives in that manner. So it is commendable. But I would suggest that we, in having the discussion, His Excellency President Mahama and the government should consider tying it to the Ghana Education Trust Fund. If there is a need for us to give it that legal impetus, Parliament can lead that discussion so that it becomes an established fund or unit under the Ghana Education Trust Fund, so that we would know as a matter of fact that, look, at the end of every month, even those who are still enjoying the benefit of basic education at the primary level or junior high school, they are entitled to a monthly stipends from that particular fund to take care of their kids. So we know, for example, at the end of every month, 1,000 or 2,000 Ghana cedis to the fund for the upkeep of those who are enjoying free basic education, even to the free senior high school level. Then those who are already in senior high school, or what's the name, universities, then there's also a special dispensation. Apart from the fees that would help them pay, there should be the need for us to give them these monthly stipends to keep them going. We can have that discussion. And like Mr. Henry Asante intimated, maybe in the course of that discussion, we can look at expanding the fund to cover many of our servicemen who lose their lives in the line of duty, so that we know that we are not just restricting this to these 8 people, but even military men, police officers, fire service workers who lose their lives in the line of duty, they are eventually added to that particular package for their families to take advantage of. That is the reason why I'm excited about this particular initiative, so that we don't give the impression as though we are only concerned about the political class. It is very dangerous. Those who are going to work on making this document a workable one must consider all these angles. And let us give that assurance to the Ghanaian people that this is not intended to benefit the political class, as usual. It is very, very important, especially leading the discourse by a political party that prides itself as being social democrats. This is the time for us to take advantage of this unfortunate demise, to signal our readiness to truly serve the good people of the country in ways that can motivate them to give their best when it comes to the development of our country. And this is a direct appeal to His Excellency President Mahama, and especially to the Minister responsible for education, for him to take up this call, for us to see how we can incorporate it under GET Fund, so that how disbursements are made. And on the basis of that, I will once again indicate that this is commendable, but it is not just about the announcement of a policy. It is about its workability, its practicability. How practicable would it be? And Mr. Henry has sent me references to the demise of the 16 people that we lost about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm a member of government, and I think that even within the government communication team and the National Democratic Congress communication team, and even among us, we feel that we could have handled the situation better. In all honesty, we agree amongst ourselves that that situation could have been handled better. And all is still not lost. I have heard that over the weekend, the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress paid a visit to the bereaved families of these 16 children. And I think in the course of the week, rather, and they had discussions, a donation was made to these families. I feel it shouldn't end there, these kinds of accidents. It has to do with the road network. Using the Accra-Kumasi highway is now more or less a death trap. There are manholes on the road. I would like to see the minister responsible for roads and highways, and my own big brother, the deputy minister for roads and highways. I would want to see that ministry leading the charge, making a case at cabinet level for the necessary funding when it comes to improving the road infrastructure of this country, especially that particular road. Because you cannot discount the economic benefit of that road. Even apart from the economic benefit of the road to the people, the social impact on the lives of the average Ghanaian. These are critical road infrastructure we cannot take for granted. And if we campaigned and won on the basis of research, these are pointers to actually realizing that objective. And it is the reason why we must demonstrate that leadership so that investments will be brought to places that they truly matter. It is important. And finally, I am excited that if for nothing at all, this unfortunate demise has brought all of us once again to the national discourse, where it is being greeted by nationalism and not partisanship. It is my hope and prayer that we do not let go of that nationalistic spirit after these funerals.
I would come to this nationalistic spirit on my next topic, because I would want to get our nationalistic approach to the fight against Galamsey, considering that all this is as a result of the fight against Galamsey. And so we'll come to that nationalistic viewpoint. I understand Kofi Kapito has joined us on Zoom. Hello, Kofi, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you too. How are you doing?
Sure. I'm doing a sad day for Ghana this morning. I guess God intends it that way, that once you say farewell, the final farewell to whether a friend or loved one or a colleague Ghanaian, you have to go back to your normal self. So this morning, by the grace of God, I'm back to my normal self.
Thank you. So I'll come back to you. Viewers also joining us in studio is Bernard Mona. Bernard, good morning.
Morning.
I hope you're good.
I'm trying to.
I can see from your face.
I'm trying to. There cannot be pretense about it. I'm just trying to be good.
Right. I'll give you a bit of a minute to get back to yourself, then I'll come back to you.
No, I'm fine.
You're fine? I'm fine. Okay, good. So your general view on the funeral that was organized, the one for our Muslim colleagues and the one yesterday, the general one, what's your general view on that?
First, let me apologize for coming in late. I have 2 setbacks. So I woke up from Lakeside just before I could get to the local government institute. My clutch also fell, so it was difficult to move. I just stepped out of the car, and a policeman who spotted me had to convey me here. And so I want to use this opportunity to thank the policeman for his courtesies extended to me. Whilst coming here, privilege of social media, I was listening to my colleagues, and I think that they did a solid submission, and I need to commend them for standing in. But importantly, this is never a situation that I personally would have ever envisaged. I have been very, very close with most of the people that were affected. Probably it is Richard that may not know, but Henry Asante and Hamza do know, and these other people from the days when we were in school and in student leadership. I, Omanebo Ama, Ernest, and John Kuma contested to lead the students of Ghana in 2002 at KNUST. Murtala, Ibrahim, Isaku, and others, who for the first time saw somebody new coming to contest new presidency like me, came to approach me to find out what my vision and strategy was to lead the students. After their encounter with me, they said, no, this guy could do the job. And they started campaigning. And Murtala became my de facto campaign manager because I didn't know much about the National Union contest. I was just saying. And Murtala and Isaku did a lot of campaigns for me, and probably that popularized me. That contest, I still believe, is one of the hottest contests that this country has ever witnessed in the student leadership. Somehow, Omanebo Ama was an affiliate or a member, let me call it properly, a member of the New Patriotic Party going into that contest. He won, but standing by the principles and to stick by the students and to fight for students' interests, he fell out with his own political party. Henry Asante will attest to this. Of leading students and demanding what, at the time, GETFund was always in arrears. The Minister for Finance was then Honorable Osafo Mafu. Then the Minister for Education was Professor Christopher Ameya Okunfi. I think they had the worst nightmare leading or confronting the students of Ghana. Eventually, GETFund Act had to be passed so that we will see that GETFund money has not unnecessarily kept at the Ministry of Finance to the disadvantage of educational policies. Omani fell out with his own political party. They came after him, but he did what he was supposed to do as a student leader. And probably that moved him because of the kind of aggression that he suffered. From there, we both, or all, myself, Murtala, and Omani. Murtala became the Secretary General of the All African Students Union, and I can say on many occasions that he met with great leaders of our continent, African leaders, Abdoulaye Wade, Mugabe, Muammar Gaddafi, and in one by Gaddafi, who wanted to become the king of kings with certain policies geared towards the continent of Africa. And Gaddafi was offering some monies. Many people went, and you know the kind of... And I can tell you, Murtala declined because he said he could not do such a thing. And we are talking about one of the most powerful continental leaders, Gaddafi. He said, no, this project, I can't do it. If I take your money, executing the plan will not be, and I am not the type of person. And I just wanted to establish this nexus when we talk about the incorruptibility of these two gentlemen. That this is an Omane Boamah who was an NPP person, who was a student leader, who stood with the students of Ghana. Against everything, President Kufuor did not have it easy. You will not talk about the Minister of Finance and the Minister for Education. Anytime there was a meeting, it was very hot. No compromises. They did not do any compromises for their self-gain. We moved together in the Committee for Joint Action. We worked together in the Concerned Ghanaians that resisted the introduction of the Representation of the People's Amendment Act. We were beaten brutally. Some of our compatriots died in the course of that. Then in our recent Arise Ghana movement, we were all there. And we have been too close. Worse is that on the morning of the accident, exactly at 6:45 a.m., I had placed a call to Omani. And I keep saying, if he had responded, typically, as has always been the case, because we were supposed to meet, if he had, then can we go together whilst on the way? That is probably how close I missed this death. If he had picked, because most often when I call him and he has an assignment, he'll say, bro, come over, let's sit in the car and go together. So I sit down and I'm reminiscing that what would have happened if he had picked that call. For Murtala, he was supposed to engage some young people, including my son. He couldn't do it the previous week. So he called to tell me that on Thursday at 9:30 a.m., they must be in the office because he's setting up a team to review their concept on STEM education and also on plastic waste management in this country. These young men were in my office waiting to pitch their idea for me to preview before they can meet the minister the next day. I was at Legon, only to get to my office to realize that everybody was irate. I was oblivious of what news was going on. And then the news started. So I got very disheartened. These are not just Ghanaians, and permit me to say this. President Mahama would have suffered heavy injury. Because I think that if there are saints, probably some of these people are part of the saints that this government would have had. Their level of commitment to our nation can never be subsumed. I do not know much about the military personnel, but every other political actor, I have a stink. I have had some interaction with them. And I can tell you, Sapong, working with the now NIB, those days BNI, was an incorruptible figure and worked so much. And we worked with him when he was appointed by President Mills. And I can tell you that he was not just a pushover. What he wanted to get done was done. And Abuaje, I only met him during the campaign, the last minute campaign, when our party declared support for the NDC, that I went to Obuasi and I met him and he was pleased to see that I had come to his constituency to come and campaign for him. Funerals, yes, it was painful. In fact, we buried them now completely. But I still woke up thinking that it is not possible for these guys to die the way they died. And I'm hoping that I probably will come out of this dream. But hey, like the President said, we just need to heal as a nation. And I feel that there is much we can do. What were they going there to do? To bring about responsible mining, to take away the issue of sending soldiers to go and kill Ghanaians, soldiers that are paid with Ghanaian money, clothed with Ghanaian money, housed with Ghanaian money. We see them brutalizing, killing our own Ghanaians. And sometimes the killings are in the interest of foreign companies. I'm sure that we all recall that not long ago, they said that some miners had trespassed Anglo Gold mining field. Then we went and killed. The official information is that about 8 people were killed. The unofficial information we have is that more than 12 people died. Why would we be killing our own in order to protect foreign investments in our country?
So,
and I think that just so I conclude, I'm sure you give us out our wealth, and then we'll be dying. These people were going there, in my view, and as I saw in the advert, they were now going to say that let's not use violence to attack our own. Let us find alternative ways so that we'll be able to curb and nip the issue of artisanal mining in this country. Funerals, yes, they were done well. I join everybody on this panel who think that, in fact, Richard, for the comment he made, we need to support the families. I also joined the call that we need to legislate on how we support the families. Setting up these endowment fund or whatever we call it, they are transient. They are transient. If it's not backed by any law, trust me, governments are not fixed. And when we say that we are going to support the families and the kids' education, at what level are we talking about? When you get to 18, it means that...
I'm sure the president directs...
So when somebody is 18 and has not yet finished your education, are you out of the support system? Because there are some legal things that when they are brought in, but we do know that in this country, not everybody finished tertiary education at 18. And so when the child is still in school, because of 1 or 2 difficulties that they might have encountered and they did not complete the process in time, are they going to be taken out of the endowment fund? Finally, on the endowment fund, me, I support everything, but I support my state better than the private sector. I was wondering, this is a state event. Why didn't we use any of the state banks?
I think if I heard the announcement correct, it was so the Stanbic Bank announced that they are supporting with this, and they have opened an account to put their seed fund in.
The president, I recall, when we attended Alhaji Limuna's 3-day Adwa, the same day that Murtala's Adwa was done in Tamale, made the pre-announcement that they are going to announce a package. So the president was very much aware. My view is that when we are leaders of the state, we must strengthen the state ownership. We must strengthen the state ownership. And so if the state was going to set up these packages, state banks are there. any other person should contribute. That is the way people will begin to have confidence in what the country Ghana owns. Otherwise, all state institutions will now be seen as not performing creditably. But when the leader insists that, standing back, you want to contribute, we have opened an account here, send your contribution there, I don't think that Stanbic Bank would have objected to it.
Well, you make your point. Viewers, we are joined on Zoom by Awula Sewa. She's an eco-conscious citizen. Awula, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I hope you are doing well.
Well, I'm taking it a day at a time. Thank you.
Right. So you joined in right at the right time when we are about discussing this issue of Galamsey. I think 2 days ago, our Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, mentioned that during the cabinet meeting, the president vowed to deal ruthlessly with the Galamsey. If my team can have the insert the video of Okudzeto, so the viewers can also see that government intends to deal ruthlessly with Galamsey. The approach he mentioned would be what has never been seen before. Let viewers please watch the short video of Sami granting that interview.
That you are going to see a fight that has never been witnessed in this country. President Mahama is going to lead a very ruthless and relentless campaign against Galamsey. He has not minced words at all. We had a brief cabinet meeting earlier today, and the president was very clear. There was no ambiguity that he will be leading a war that we have never seen to deal with this canker, this existential threat, once and for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Hamza, I'll start with you because you wanted to speak about the nationalistic and having a non-partisan approach to fighting this Galamsey. Here we hear Okudzeto telling us that a decision or a discussion at Parliament, a cabinet, is in the direction of the president wanting to be ruthless and taking an approach that has never been used before.
I think that when the news first broke, that was clearly the expectation of many people. The arguments were that these people should not go in vain. They stood for something, and for the country to truly honor their memory, it is only proper that we discharge our responsibilities in that regard in a manner that is acceptable and befitting to all, so that their family members themselves would have known that they did not die in vain. But if we were to go back to business as usual, where we treat this Galamsey fight with kid gloves, then clearly their death would have ensuring that we nip the issue of Galamsey in the bud. But for me, I think that it is not about how vigorous we fight the canker. I've always argued that, like my senior comrade indicated, that the issue is an employment problem. And to the extent that we fail to roll out complementary policies in any targets of our fights would be next to impossible. It is the reason why the program launched on that fateful Wednesday was very complementary role. Because here, the state is leading the discourse in terms of driving responsible mining amongst the Ghanaian youth. Those who are mostly taken advantage of by vested interests, especially into our minds of these young Ghanaians who undoubtedly are engaged in it because they are looking for livelihoods. And so it is important for us not to lose sight of that complementary role. The agenda to create jobs, to quickly engage the teeming youth within these communities so that they themselves will become agents of that fight when it comes to government objective in trying to nip the issue of Galamsey in the bud. I have never doubted the commitment of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama in that fight. But I've always known that his approach was a sustainable approach. One way in ensuring that we have responsible mining on another trajectory, doing everything within the legal remits of our law to ensure that we uproot those who engage in illegal mining. And I do not expect a monumental shift in that regard, because that is the acceptable way when it comes to dealing with the issue of Galamsey. And if I hear the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, I think I heard him quite clearly. He says that, of course, the presidency will take the fight a little bit higher. I am waiting to see how that approach would be. But one thing I know as a matter of fact is that we are likely to see the president himself leading the charge, visiting many of these mining sites and getting to appreciate at first hand the level of devastation, or if you like, the level of devastation we have been exposed to as a republic. And so maybe that is what we are likely to see. Again, we are likely to see the president engaging proactively with community leaders and traditional authority, being that example in terms of how it should be done. Because for some time now, we have it didn't start with President Mahama. And it's because of the architecture of our constitution, where ministerial roles are created. And so we expect certain ministers to discharge their duties and come to respond, or if you like, respond to the queries of His Excellency the President in terms of accountability, and in most cases to Parliament. We all have our issues with the way Parliament has been functioning for some time now, unfortunately. But that is what I would expect. President Mahama himself leading the charge, going directly to the mining sites, engaging with the citizens of this republic, letting them understand that the time has come for us to make a detour in terms of how we speak. I would also want a situation where His Excellency President Mahama will signal a resolve not to shield anybody associated with the National Democratic Congress and the government engaged in Galamsey. He has demonstrated that already. But I would want to see where even if a functionary of state, a political operative picks a phone and calls the military to intervene on behalf of a suspect engaged in illegal mining, I would want to see proactive action against that state functionary or appointee of the government. But I am not for those who are calling for shoot and kill on our mining pits, because this is a democratic republic. And like Senior Comrade indicated, many of these people engaged in those sites are citizens of the Republic of Ghana. Failures led them to these pits in the first place. As political leaders, I'm sure that if we were proactive in job creation since '92, we wouldn't have been here as a republic. But here you are dealing with an economy that we are told grow mostly on an annual basis, yet still it is unable to throw out job opportunities for its teeming youth. We are dealing with a situation where on annual basis unemployment keeps skyrocketing. I remember somewhere 2016, it was in the region of about 7%. For we're dealing in about 14 or 15% youth unemployment. That it becomes practically impossible for you to engage your youth in ways that would make them run away from these mining pits. Because this is a matter of survival. And the very constitution we are seeking to protect emphasizes the importance of personal dignity. And we all know what happens to your personal dignity when you are unable to make a living, when you are unable to take care of your family. Many of our graduates are unemployed because over the years we have failed as a republic to invest in areas that truly matter. It is becoming, because even the state lacks that moral authority to take the people out of the pits. What are the alternative livelihoods that we are selling to them? And that brings us back to the cooperative mining His Excellency President Mahama spoke about. And you see, for those who have not been following, he did not start the concept of cooperative mining just now. Somewhere in 2016, it was a central plank. Unfortunately, he lost the election. He is back again, and he has decided to action that particular policy. And those of us who are associated in sustainability, the drive, the sustainability drive, we know that the surest way to tackling this issue of Galamsey, at least, if for nothing at all, through the local government system, through our MMDC, that can truly police the activities of these young guys who have formed cooperatives to mine. And even when it comes to the reclamation of their lands, a percentage of revenues coming from that particular cooperative mining initiative can be paid to the district assemblies to engage in activities aimed at reclaiming their lands. That way, we are engaging in responsible mining, at the same time making it possible for the state architecture, especially the local government architecture, to be an instrumental player when it comes to reclamation of our lands. And for me, that is what I expect. I don't expect a shoot to kill, because the minister responsible for foreign affairs has said that, President Mahama will wage a war that has never been seen before. We should not see it in the form of shoot to kill. It is more about a coordinated, sustainable way of ending this menace. And you cannot do so if that policy, if that drive does not include this. We can begin to redirect the youth towards these ventures. And so that is what I expect.
Well, I mean, you being an eco-conscious citizen, do I still have Awula on the line? Okay, I understand I've lost Awula, so let me come. Richard, I hear Hamza speak, and I'm asking myself that who are we really kidding? Is it the case that the people in authority are pretending we don't know those behind the Galamsey? I mean, when you listen to the interview that Sami gave, he indicated that before Omani died, Omani had showed him on his phone messages and calls from people in government, people in authority who were telling him to tone down. So they know these people. So why are we pretending the fight is down there when we know the people at the top?
Well, one of the tragedies of fighting this Galamsey menace is the attempt by both parties, but most especially the NDC, to politicize it. Because it's a matter or a menace that affects us all equally. It doesn't discriminate on the basis of color or what political party you belong to. So it's an existential threat, and we've known it to be that. But for some reason, to contend it, it's being politicized. And I want to commend Hamza for the clarity with which he's engaging the matter, but also then lean a bit more that he can do a bit more in speaking more forcefully within.
Just 1 minute. So viewers, as Richard speaks, we'll be showing a video of a community where the citizens attacked the police, injured a number of them. On the screen, we would advise viewers to be careful of some of the scenes because there are some that looks a bit bloody. But this is a community where the police went to fight the same Galamsey, and the citizens attacked this police, and the police were forced to have to fire or to shoot in response. So yes, Richard, you can go on as the screen rolls.
Yeah, so to and people who think along the same breath, as a party, we must own what the situation of Galamsey has become, because their 2020 campaign, 2024 campaign enabled, gave people assurances that they would create leeways for them, that they will enable them. They leverage the Galamsey problem. I mean, this is replete. The evidence of it is replete. Where they were out there in the Galamsey areas, canvassing that when they come, they will let them do Galamsey. Okay, the idea that you will leverage that for political end is now coming through to do it. Perhaps those campaign messaging and things were said lightly, only in a struggle for power. But people took them seriously because people voted for them on that basis. And so now, what we are facing is a problem that was getting out of control. And then the minister had to step in, the government's effort, because you see, as Hamza rightly said, and I think Brother Bernard Mona also said, is that this, okay, that's what it is fundamentally. People trying to put bread on the table. It is one that you wake up every day wondering about. In fact, I saw recently the government's efforts to fight Galamsey. They went into some community and the women were angry that they had come to stop their children from Galamseying. And they were saying that this is how they keep body and soul together. And so it's economic. It's essentially just that. So how do you address that? Okay, so my first point is that let's stop let's depoliticize it and make sure it's a national conversation so that when it comes to me, the MPP person, I am clear in my mind that I will support the government's effort to deal with it in whatever shape or form they engage, and how I can contribute by way of providing information where I've seen people who are engaged in Galamsey. There's a system created, we can provide information to the security forces that this person is doing it, holding the MMDC is accountable. Okay, if we take away the politics, then we can all contribute to that. The MMDCs, these things happen in the administered. The country from Jubilee House descends all the way to the ground. What is the value of decentralization if it cannot help us deal with these matters? So the MMDCs that are in place in those areas where Galamsey is happening, to which situation you're showing, it's a video there, they're going to those communities. What are they doing? They chair this, the various DISECs and the MUSECs. So what are they doing? Why are those things happening under their supervision? Now you move from there, you go to the traditional authorities. They own the land. They are vested, the land is theirs. I mean, our land system is families. The land belongs to the chiefs. What are they doing? Are they just citing where government went to try and fight this for them and say, look, this is our livelihood? Is it the case that it is for them, for these communities, and for those who are doing it, they find it existential that they will lose their life if they don't do Galamsey? And so the larger existential concern that after getting your bread and eating it, you still are going to die because you have devastated the environment. So you are not helping yourself by Galamseying to survive, only to die after you have Galamseyed. If that is the case, what is the approach? At the traditional level? At the district assembly level? At the government level? What are we doing? So it's a matter that requires a whole village approach and not a partisan look at it. I think that if we approach it that way, we may be making some headways. Our economy is the problem. And then we have talked about this ad nauseum. But generally, our policies direct us and lead us to becoming more import dependent. All of us are clapping for the government, except, some of us who can see it from the New Patriotic Party side. And look, this whole effort that the CD is coming down, which is being celebrated by the NDC, and look at us. Now, when you tell them there's a problem here, go and fix it. So, see, the CD has come down, right?
You're doing the same thing with free SHS.
But free SHS is consequential. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people not getting their releases, ministries, Ministry of Energy, Ministry, a lot of health. There's no overlook. The city has come down, right? Hamza was talking about the road, how we have to fix the road, find every financial resource available to fix the road, invoking his brother to go and do hard work of getting the government focused on the Accra Kumasi road. But they are not getting releases. Okay? If you ask them, I've not heard Hamza say it, but his colleague communicators for the NDC, if you tell them about the Kumasi road, you have to fix it. This is happening. Ministry of Works and Housing, they need to fix that. There's no overlook at the city. It's come down. But it's come down to what end? Right? It is making our jobs go abroad because import has become cheaper. Is that question? We're not talking much about that. So we're celebrating things that are inimical to our own progress, but the things that will drive our progress we're not celebrating. And this Galamsey matter, I any day will support the government's effort and will be clear in my mind that it would not be a political conversation for me, but it will be a national conversation. The only fear I have is whether the NDC will reciprocate that if you take Hamza out of the equation, the rest of the NDC army, would they realize that this is a national conversation and their leadership realize that they have contributed to the worsening of Galamsey and escalate, okay, and talk within the president is interested in fighting it, and we just have lost some fine people in the quest to end this Galamsey, which is something we're doing to ourselves for short-term benefit, but long-term we know it is going to kill us. It is going to worsen our stay, and perhaps we don't have a future if we don't stop it now. The end must get serious about the Galamsey conversation.
Okay. So I understand Awula is back on the line, and for viewers also the footage we showed is from, I understand, Bonteso in the Ashanti region, where the mob attacked the IGP Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force at Bonteso in the Ashanti region. So Awula, it's good to have you back. I am, as an eco-friendly citizen, what doing Galamsey, and at the same time finding an alternative livelihood for the people in these communities that are doing this, and as my panel members have said earlier, mainly because it's an economical solution for them.
Thank you very much for having me. You see, I am very, very concerned when we start acting as if livelihood is driving the environmental terrorism. I think we are doing a disservice to every single person who's lost their lives, from the children who died actively chasing the water bodies to the forestry commissioner officers who have been killed, beaten up, and to the journalists who have put their lives on the line and have been beaten, some of them very severely. I think we're doing all, and of course, our hearts go out to the recent victims of the helicopter crash. I mean, let's be absolutely clear. Let's be absolutely clear. In the 80s, we had a spate of armed robbery going on. We dealt with it. We didn't say that, oh, they need a livelihood. Let's first look at the livelihood. You can have a holistic approach, but the idea that it's a question of livelihood, I don't buy it. If you go to the areas like Atronsu, where they are farming community, they are saying we do not want mining. Please do not push it down our throats. We are happy being farming communities. We do not want mining. And Yao-Krom, for instance, they are actively resisting it and saying that look at our cocoa farms. The cocoa is is ready. We can actually see the cocoa, and then you want to bring whether community mining, cooperative mining, whatever name you want to bring it. You know, it's very, very sad that when we do that, when armed robbers come to your home, you're not going to say that, oh, armed robbers, I know that because you don't have a livelihood, so carry on whilst we look for a livelihood for you. In many cases, let me tell you, employment will not give you the kind of returns you get from irresponsible mining at all. All you're doing is destroying the environment. You're not how you get through this responsible form of mining. When you go into farming, the scarcity. So what do we think the food that we are eating has in it? You see, we face an existential threat. We will all die if this continues. Most crucial factor leading this is lack of employment. I don't buy it. Talk to people like community. There's mining in the community before and after. But the good people of Gemma have said we do forests, we are farmers, and they don't have mining. They found alternative means of livelihood. We look at Atronsu, where the farmers said they did not want farming. Sorry, they did not want mining. It was being pushed down their throats. They tried to resist the mining that was polluting their Atronsu stream and devastating their farmlands. And guess what happened? The police have rather arrested the activists. They are they've been charged a piece of paper, a community mining license. They were polluting the Atronsu stream, and as Professor Frimpong Boateng told us, even if you have a mining license, if you go outside the parameters of your license, you are involved in arrest of illegal miners, including foreign nationals. What happened? They rather were charged. We have the same around the Draw River Forest, where young people took a video of the illegal mining taking place by the water body, poisoning their water. And what happened? They were rather arrested. The list goes on. So I want to end by saying that we really need to have a rethink. No amount of gold or money is worth not having clean water, losing your forest reserves, and losing your butterflies and bees. We need to really set up and call it what it is. I won't even say galamsey. When we're talking about galamsey, it was using hand tools. No devastation was taking place at this rate. Right now we have excavators, we have chanfans, we are actively poisoning our water bodies. We face an existential threat. Cat or kidney related diseases has gone up fourfold. So we cannot continue to dilly-dally and to give excuses for taking place. And by all means, you can find livelihoods for them, but don't forget those whose livelihood you are destroying to bring about mining. And let me end by saying that the cooperative mining scheme, have you looked at the framework? I think you should go back to the drawing room, only because it suffers from the same fatal flaw as the discredited community mining. The enforcement regime is weak. So yes, it's very good. You speed up the granting of licenses. Having a license does not mean that just because you've got a license that you're able to mine responsibly. You need to have checks and balances. You need to ensure that the money. So we suffer from the same fatal flaw, and I'm afraid in this present state, it can open the door for more illegal mining because the compliance regime is weak.
Okay, thank you very much, Aula. Thank you for your view on this. Back in studio, Bernard. So we call it using normal handheld tools. Now there are excavators, they are chamfans. These excavators don't come into Ghana without passing through the harbour. These chamfans don't come into Ghana without passing through the harbour. Now when these machines, heavy duty equipment come, definitely at the harbour, there is a declaration on the intent of use of these ones. Is it the case that we are unable to fight Galamsey mainly because of our difficulty in fighting corruption, where people just allow things into the country? And so even though we are putting in efforts and doing everything because of corruption, because Richard also mentioned, there are assemblies, there are MMDCs, there are MCs. How is it that in your backyard this is being done? You can't say they are chiefs. Who are the ones being in custody of the lands that are being used there? Is it the case that because of what is being paid to people, some bribes, so people are not probably going all out to fight this?
I'm a bit alarmed at her choice of words this morning. Cannot put the issue on an economic. Could you have said? You think that people simply wanted or they want to destroy environment for the sake of doing so? You think that those people who are at the Galamsey, and I'm sure that when you go to the Galamsey sites, you see how dirty, that they don't even look like human beings. You see the conditions in the mining areas. You think that these people are just excited to go and do that? If there was no economic reason, they are trigger happy to just be in the forest, living in unwholesome conditions, surviving, being beaten and chased. And when you kill them and you think that you are done enough, you go and then they go back. And if you don't place it at the table that this is an economic issue, let's deal with it. Who will have her qualification and go to say that I've struggled? There are people that I completed university with from 2003 who will tell me that they have not had any permanent job. Employed. They are looking for jobs. Let's no one take away the issue of economics in this matter. It's about survival. And until we are able to respond adequately to this survival question, you can't do anything. The last time I said this, look, you go and chase the people from Bontiso, is that what I heard? By the time you finish chasing them, they are at Bontifufu. By the time you finish Tako, they are in Manwe. So as you are going around chasing them, they are also going. They are doing that to survive. Anybody who decides that you are not concerned about the survivability of our young people, you are not ready to confront the issue. I have insisted time without number that look, we sit in this country. Newmont just have a small fraction of the mines in this country. And we are told that accessing the access of Newmont times richer. How would you give a part of your wealth to somebody to come and mine, and the person turns around to be far richer than you? So what it means is that if state decides to capture the commanding share of our extractive sector and does it well, we will not be in that quagmire. There will be a lot of employment opportunities that will be opened. But the refrain has been that the state doesn't have the capacity to do this. In fact, we are told that people employed in the state don't have competences. That it is only those in the private sector that have competences. Jesus. And we perform better than them. Right? Some of them actually came out of the state. They worked in the state, got money, and they turned around to capture the same state institutions that they were running. How can anybody explain that Ashanti Goldfields was making losses, but when sold to Anglo Gold Ashanti, it is making supernormal profits? Didn't we have the likes of Sam Jonah, who is still touted as one of the best brains that we have? He ran Ashanti Goldfields. For some strange reasons, he supervised the collapse of Ashanti Goldfields. He himself explains that he doesn't know why he was knighted by the British. So that you become, they title you sir. And I don't know what goes with it. Anytime people auction their nations, their national interests to British, the Queen will call you and knight you. So if he doesn't know why he was knighted, I am saying, without blinking, that this is the basis that, look, you sold the national wealth, gave it to them. They are milking, making a lot of money, killing Ghanaians and using Ghanaian soldiers to go and kill them. The issue is about economics. Take this from me. When Ashanti Goldfields used to function proficiently, when we had the consolidated diamond mines in Akutia, you had the Prestia Bogoso government mines, and many other mining companies. If you go to Bondi, I'm sure most of you know that area, you see that we built places for the mine workers to work. Growing up from Obuasi, there were shuttles that were running free of charge, conveying people, those of us who were not even qualified to work. We just could just sit down from Enyinem, you go to Tutuka, you go to anywhere, because the vehicles were moving. So you use that to go and explore, to get to know places and come back. Our state was responsible for providing session welfare packages that supported our existence. Ever since we sold it, even the AGC clubhouse doesn't function again. Right? The hospitals and things that were there to protect our people were not there. Unemployed, and therefore they want to find a way to survive. In fact, if you don't have to survive, you die. And so most of these people have gone there. It's an economic issue. It's an economic issue. I will agree. Is she called Awula?
Yes, Awula.
I will agree with her that it doesn't make sense, because these excavators don't just drop from the skies into the mining communities. They pass through the ports.
Yes.
Who is responsible at the ports that we are not able to want to find out the destinations of these things? In any case, if these things come and they are not being sold in the market. We don't know who is going, so that we get to know who is using it, so that we can trace them. We should be able to register them. If they are individuals who are buying them, register them directly at the port. You get to know where they are and what they are doing. We should be able to do that.
Okay.
So, and I want to conclude again by saying that, look, most of us, probably because we are working for some other institutions, we have to speak in a manner that will ensure that our funders see that we are doing something. But in this matter, whatever it is, it's an economic battle.
Thank you. Kofi Kapito, we have Kofi Kapito on call. Hello, Kofi, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me again?
Yes, I can. Apologies for keeping you silent for this long. I know you have. But Bernard says that next time be in the studio.
He told me yesterday that we'll be on the show together. Why is he not here?
Tell him that you people decided not to bring me to the studio.
So Bernard, he says it's our fault.
Okay.
Kofi.
But you see, this militant man, he's always been a militant from childhood, and he's still acting like a militant. Sometimes you need the militants to check other people. So I say good morning to Bernard, Hamza, Richard, and my own old timer. You know, let me tell you what. We're talking about this Galamsey thing, and I sit back as a Ghanaian citizen, as somebody whose parameter is to make sure that consumers in Ghana are well protected. When I hear Richard and Hamza doing this affect our water bodies, or even the forests that we need to grow our vegetables and products and stuff. Look, the danger today is now even pawpaw that grows on top of a tree. The pawpaws are now being contaminated. Pawpaw. I'm not talking about pineapple or something that grows on the ground. I'm talking about pawpaw, mangoes, and stuff. The issue we have to face is the politician is responsible, or the governments are responsible. He's talking about when is it the NDC people used it as a campaign. We were here. We saw a video just before the last election where was it? He was once the deputy minister for aviation. I think they took him to Western Region as a regional minister. Okay, and they had the political party MPP. Somebody standing there telling the miners that if a police officer comes to you and switch your whatever up, beat him. I come and bail you. Ask Richard. Does he remember? Same way I'll ask Hamza when his people were doing it. Look, we understand the land belongs to the chief. Anything underground belongs to the state. So it should be a collaborative between the chief, who is the landowner, and the government, who is the owner of the minerals. Is that what we see? Somebody goes and gets a license, and he comes, and then even because he says it's my land. The government says I own the thing under. Have you seen the scale of mining in South Africa? That is proper mining. Yes, you hear people being miners being dying in the mining Obuasi gold fields. Back in the day, or Ashanti gold fields, you hear that the mine has collapsed. As a young boy in Kumasi, you take a car to Obuasi to go and sell. As the song there, Galamsey gold. Politicians, let's call a spade and stop calling it a digging fork. You people don't even allow the police to do their job when they are doing their job, which is the enforcement. Right? Because the IGP is appointed by government, even if the IGP wants to do the job. And let's not pretend to be ostriches today. We've seen before and after. Governments, you become like there's a saying in tree, animal kokone. That bird or that animal goes to the top of the water, makes it milky, then he quickly comes back to the tail of the water and asks, who makes the mess? And that's what our politicians are doing to us. We have politicians in mining, we have policemen in mining, we have other high hierarchy men in mining in Ghana. Not that mining is illegal. I mean, it's wrong. We can do proper mining. But this scale of mining that we are doing, that we are playing politics with it, that we are not making sure that, yes, I agree with Awula that we cannot blame everything on because the people don't have jobs. But the man driver, okay, but the question I'm asking is, when this thing started, it didn't start yesterday. This is where I have a problem. It's like something that started maybe 2 years ago. It's been going on and it's getting worse by the year. Look at the pictures that you are showing. How can a human being bring himself to this level? And then he'll call him and they tell you that that is what they do, so they don't care. Not even thinking about the health implications that they can go through. The men who are doing this on their skin, sometimes even internally. And then the chief sells the land because the chief will tell the cocoa farmer that I gave you the land. I'll have the right to take it. They will take the land, or the cocoa farmer too will decide that, well, based on what I'm getting for the cocoa money, if I sell the land to the miner, I'll get more money. We are all doing things wrongly. And I'm also vehemently against people who say that we can't use brute force. Authority to use brute force. Even if for one day. Not to go and kill everybody. But the question is, we can't allow and then also go after the big men that we know. People who come and sit on television in front of every Ghanaian telling us that I have money. There's nothing wrong in having money. But the question is, did you acquire the money properly? Legally? And that's why we don't ask Ghanaians. The politician, and I've said, the politician that makes the law, because the MPs are lawmakers. When you make a law and the law is not working, what do you do about it?
Okay,
in other jurisdictions, they will look at the law again and make sure that the law is going to change and work in favor of the bigger picture. How many people have you even done research as a nation to know how many people who are in Galamsey to say that maybe 30%, 20%, 40%, so there are plenty people. Let's do the research and see that can we allow a smaller number of people to control the rest of us? I thought we are doing democracy. Majority wins, right? If the majority wins, let's do a survey. Let's see If Ghanaians really wants this Galamsey nonsense to go on, and then if you say we do, then fine. But the question is, we don't even know what percentage of Ghanaians.
Guys, you can't hear me when I speak.
I can hear you now. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Right. Okay, so I was saying that I'll come back to you in a minute. I would want to take Henry's view on this guy to discuss last week. I would come to you, the famous DSTV multi-choice. So I'll come to you right after Henry. So I take your view on that one. Henry.
Yes. It's quite interesting. I've been listening to my colleagues and everybody's making sense out of this. But I would like to look at it from a different tangent. It is not for nothing that we have this saying that no one is born a criminal. Society makes one so. And truly true, Nelson Mandela, of blessed memory, added that when a man is denied his livelihood, okay, to live the life he wants to live, he becomes an outlaw. Take it or leave it. I don't think, as Bernard said, this job, okay, this job probably, I may not be even interested in going to that sector. That is a critical question you and I need to answer. The push up. I happen to be in South Africa, as Kofi mentioned. They call it Zama Zama. The Galamsey we call it here. They call it Zama Zama. It's something of old. Wherever there's a treasure, man will risk life to make it. Not that in South Africa they don't do, they do. But they have been regulated in such a way that you don't just go in and leave the land as we do in this part of our world. We've been asking ourselves, what at all can't we do to make people get their survival, to live up to expectation? You see, Kojo, we must be very careful. Looking at the pictures, they're so devastating. Really, in reality, if you go to the mining sectors, you ask yourself, when did we get here? We've gotten here probably because of not doing the right things. How is it we don't do the right things? Ask yourself, these people in the holes, in the pitches, are the excavators? It's quite ridiculous and very expensive. Are they able to purchase these items? If yes, so be it. If no, who are the owners? We need to tackle the problem from the onset. But it looks like we are rather bypassing the main situation or the main cause and having victims of circumstances. If really we are indeed, the state is really ready for that much to solve this problem, naturally, we can do it. It's not going to be on a silver platter. It's a very arduous task. A little research I did on these Galamseyers in this country, you realize that it's borders on lack of employment, as my colleague said. If you look at the government sector, the formal sector, as of 2022, Ghana had less than 700,000 government employees. As of 2022. For now, there's been a little improvement. Let's say, let me give it up to 1 million Ghanaians who are. And you just suppose that with the mining sector, this illegal mining, you can count as many as probably 2 million people who are in the sector with dependents. Okay? Let's say there are only 500,000 in the Galamsey sector. What of the dependents? And each of them has about four dependents, or even 3. Then we are looking at a huge number who are depending on these Galamseyers. So we ask them to stop job. They stop the work. What do they do? What is the next line of action? Criminal. The society will make you a criminal. If you stop them from doing this Galamsey job, fine. Where do they go from here? Probably they need to survive by every means necessary. So it will be very prudent for the state, for that government in authority, to make sure that the right legislative are set in place for these people to. That is why I applaud the presidency for that much. The concept of what do you call it? What is it? Come again? Corporate. Yeah, it's a very good idea. That they can regulate the system. But to say we're going to use force to let them, it will not work. Believe you me. You can't force me to not to survive. I must live. Mandela saw the need in South Africa. And he said, no, let us try to improve upon the LI, so that the people will have a decent livelihood. Naturally, it's a very difficult task. Let me face it. If the president, anyone who said he want to use brute force, homeboy, you will fail it. Because if you use brute force, they will rebel against the system. And the people are ready. So, some people don't care to die. I must be frank with you. When it comes to the issue of gold, if I can go to the site and within a couple of weeks make a fortune, I don't care whatever the consequences. So let us look at it holistically from that angle. And I think by so doing, we can make a headway. Let's all help the presidency. For that much, the country, the nation, so that will push up the pull and pull factors. They must live. They must survive. You don't come and then say, I'm going to fight. You're going to kill who? If you kill one person, by shoot it, they will rebel. And when that happens, we have a chaotic situation, and anarchy will take the other part of the world situation. Yeah.
I think quite briefly, it is important for me to briefly respond to. Yes,
just 1 minute, because I need to move to the other topic.
1 minute wouldn't be appropriate for me. You see, first of all, it is important to understand that when it comes to the sustainability drive, no literature anywhere under the sun deals with the issue of sustainability, especially when it comes to mining and even agriculture, without privileging the issue of livelihoods, sustainable livelihoods. And so I'm surprised because I have worked in that space both in the United Kingdom and Ghana. And in that agenda, down the effect of livelihoods. Ghana has it as a major principle when it comes to even exports of our cocoa and mining and gold. So she should not. I think that it is something she needs to look at critically. I can understand the passion. It can be forgiven. Her desire to get us work assiduously on this issue of illegal mining. I can understand it. But it does not mean that we should water down the effect of another major complementary initiative as far as that drive is concerned. And finally, on the issue of the politicization, this morning, for deliberate reasons, and also as a manifestation, please. Yes, no, please. And as a way of reverence to our fallen heroes. That is why I thought that this discussion would have been nationalistic in character. And I responded to the issue of illegal mining with that nationalistic outlook. But it is not proper in this station and said to create the impression that the NDC used the issue of Galamsey for political capital. We all monitored the events. The NDC was one of the voices as far as the issue of Galamsey was concerned. The NDC never even once organized a demonstration against the government in the issue of Galamsey, despite the fact that we had our misgivings. This was led by the Ghanaian media and civil society. And as an opposition party, it was only prudent for the NDC to make known its position. And we did just that. You cannot on this table accuse the National Democratic Congress of politicizing. When you guys raised the election, let us be fair to the facts. Kojo, in this case, he also made reference to the fact that, the National Democratic Congress... Please. No, I need... No.
Hamza, give me a minute. No, Richard and Hamza, give me a minute. Hamza, Hamza, give me a minute. Hold your thoughts.
Let me land.
No, Hamza, I'll let you land.
Could you please,
Hamza,
hold your thoughts. To disrupt the flow.
No, that's why you hold your thoughts.
Could you finally?
Wait, Hamza, wait.
Oh, could you?
Wait. The very moment I allow you to land,
You have allowed him already.
Richard would also come in to want to respond.
No problem.
And he would do, so that's, I'm going to come back to you, and you can use your time.
Please, let me just land. I beg you, don't do that. Let me land.
Okay. So I'm just giving you 15 seconds.
I don't think that you invited me to sit here and watch them run and watch him say whatever he wants.
Obviously not. So 15 seconds, please land.
Kojo, you see, first of all, that is why I resisted the temptation. It is not accurate to say that it has escalated in this government. What we see today is a government that is committed to fighting the menace. Let us be fair to the facts. When they were in power, today we are not hearing of regional chairmen being actively involved in Galamsey. Today we are not hearing of party functionaries and government officials like Sampine, Mayor of Kumasi. We are not hearing of presidential appointees like the current MP for Joabing. We are not hearing of people on live TV receiving kickbacks as a result of their association with the presidential task force on Galamsey. That is progress. And we know that as political parties, people can take advantage of their association with us to do all kinds of things. It is the reason why President Mahama from day one sent that strongly worded statement that even if you are a member of the National Democratic Congress and you are caught up in the issue of Galamsey, you will be dealt with. So what I expect my brother to be doing is to be encouraging this government to continue to ensure that we nip this in the bud. This is not the time for politics, especially so when all seriously
Richard, hold on.
This government.
I see you. No, I see you looking in my direction. Richard, hold on. Richard, hold on.
He also sought to
downplay the significance. Gentlemen, please allow me moderate. Please, Richard, you don't even know what I'm going to say next.
I'm letting you know whatever you're going to say should not amount to deny me any opportunity to respond.
Nobody
I want to respond now, not later.
Richard, I am moderating the program.
Well, you didn't moderate him.
Richard,
so why do you think I'm going to allow you to moderate him?
Allow me moderate the
just
program.
Hold on one second.
No, you hold on one second
I'm not going to let you carry on if it has not.
So you need to listen to me and hear what I'm going to say.
He didn't listen to you and you allowed him.
Listen to me and hear what I'm going to say.
He didn't listen to you, but you allowed him.
No, but you asked me to allow him to land.
I only extended as
but the point is that.
So you allow me.
Okay. But I'm only saying, Kojo,
Richard,
hold on one second.
You might.
I'm just saying that.
Richard,
I'm going to allow you just 1 second. 1 second. Whatever I allow you to say should not result in not giving me the opportunity now to respond. That's just all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is that I am moderating the show. So probably if you have just held on a second, probably you might not even have to give me that caveat.
Well, which second? Now you have a second.
Okay,
so what's happening?
So I'm giving you 30 seconds.
No, I can't give you 10 seconds. Unless 10 seconds equals the number of minutes.
I'm giving you 30 seconds. And I'm timing you now.
Well, you didn't time him.
I timed him. I have the time here, so I have the information.
He said a few things.
So please, 30 seconds, please respond, and then let's move on to.
I understand 30 seconds according to all I thought I was saying was to say that your party politicized that for purpose. And you benefited from it. You can deny it, but that's what it was. Because you have your operating. I beg you. Hold on. No, nationalistic, and he wanted to be political. So I'm ready for it.
Political.
Hamza, can we save the interjection? Conclude, please.
Yeah. The campaigns from the president, all the red meats they were throwing out there were for Galamseyers to vote for them. The president was at an event talking about how is it that they were international operating them with any other livelihood alternative to be able to make a living. What do you think they're going to do? They'll go back to the pit and Galamsey. That's the matter we're talking about.
Their own deputy national communication officer was in the bushes campaigning that vote for us when the NDC come. We'll let you Galam say.
That was in 2020, not 2024.
When I was talking about it, I mentioned their 2020 campaign and 2024 campaign. That's what I said. You can check your tapes. When I was saying, I referred back then and now. When they were campaigning 2024 and 2020, that's what they did. So Hamzat should not come here and try to moralize to us about how is it they campaigned, supporting or trying to fight in the Galamsey. We're all here in this country. He's talking about now that they have come, you have not heard about any regional chairman in the world. He's not being investigated for Galamsey. Is that not happening? Is Hamza not aware of that? The president, then flag bearer, the NDC, when they were in opposition, and this campaign, the social, of course, civil society organization, were calling on the government to declare. Hold on, you are not the timer. Because
I'm
what you
monitoring
did
the time I
was
gave
not
you.
a 1 minute.
No, I'm monitoring the time.
No
So
problem.
please go, Richard.
I'm
Just
just
give me your
saying
time.
that, but you need to stop interjecting. What I'm saying is that the president organizations to declare state of emergency. Since he came to office, they've been asking him to declare state of emergency. Till now, the president hasn't declared it. So what are they talking about? About a certain level of prosecution of the fight against Galamsey.
I gave to him. I'm monitoring the time, Richard. And it's the same number. I gave him 3 minutes. I'm giving you 3 minutes.
Let me just conclude. The point I am trying to make, the president promised that LI 2462, when he comes, he will repeal it. What he has done is to enable the usage of 2462 LI. Because, oh no, so please.
And we ran in commentary on this matter.
Please, listen.
Where were you?
No, I was here. But the point is that, listen, if you are a political party that finds a problem with a certain policy, in review, you find problems with it. And now you are in charge and you cannot deal with the problem you found with that policy, the person who put the policy. It makes you worse because every policy, once you implement it, you have a period within which to review it. And when that policy was thought of, the intention was clear that we have natural reserves or wealth under the ground in our forests. We want to exploit those. How do we do those sustainably? And you put a policy. Hold on. You put.
Okay. Thank you.
It was only being amended.
Gentlemen,
No.
Thank you, gentlemen.
To give amended, and which amendment is not equal to repeal.
I need to give a message. I need to speak to.
Let me conclude. Because if the people are making,
I'm giving you 30 seconds more.
Let's just 1 second. The point the president promised to repeal is not repealing. We have had the LI. We've had a chance to see that people are abusing it. So what we need to do is to take it off the books and be able to rethink a way to exploit the natural resources such that we don't devastate our forests and waters. So the NDC does not have any standing in this conversation.
So
it
viewers,
is clear that you have
viewers, and we'll reduce the volume of his microphone for a second. Viewers, this program, gentlemen, please, Richard and Hamza, please give me a minute. Okay, so viewers, this program is sponsored by the Bank of Africa, Ghana. Bank of Africa understand fix every now and then, whether it is school fees, replacing that old refrigerator, or fixing the car engine to get back to the road. The quick fix loan package was made with your tough times, make way for that soft life that you have been dreaming about. Visit any Bank of Africa branch near you today and enjoy your unbeatable low interest rate. Gentlemen, flexible terms and straightforward application process. You can call Bank of Africa on 0302 429 333 or on 0302 249690 or visit any of their branches. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. Right. Now there are some SMS messages I would want to read before we go to Kofi. He says, I think we should come together to fight this galamsey. If not, then no president can enjoy the seat of presidency in Ghana, being NDC or be it MPP. So let us unite to fight the galamsey now. This is Ladan from Medina. Edmond from Accra says, please, I have a problem. Is that the IGP should ban all prophecies. They brought it out. Okay, so this has to do with the prophecies. John Derry also says that, please, Ben and Hamza, let's be frank with ourselves and let the truth be told. It's not unemployment that is the problem with the galamsey, but pure greed. It's galamsey new to us. How many buy champagne machines? It's frontline people are innocent boys and girls under the darkness. How did the Chinese get into the forest that they don't know about? Well, John Derry, we've expressed similar concerns here. I strongly support our President John Mahama taking a proactive step to end galamsey in Ghana. Those involved in galamsey operations are being selfish and not honest to the state. The fight is not only one-man fight. It is all of us in Ghana, irrespective of where you are coming from. So Joshua has a bit of a long message there.
I just do something small, which I normally don't do. My brother John Derry should note that the Shamfans cannot operate by themselves. And that those who are in the bushes, that these Shamfans are brought and they are working, are those who are struggling to get it. Absolutely. Yes, there is the greed aspect. There is those who want to have everything under the sun. I mean, we saw some of them, President even came to defend them. But we are saying that the boys from the communities, from our rural areas, from everywhere that are there of the Shamfang, but they must work to survive. Why are they there? So
but did you hear what Bernard said?
Yes, don't mind Bernard. Bernard, I've told you he's a militant for a long time. Anyway, I have to change positions because I have to charge my iPad. That's why maybe the view is different. But you know, on this issue of DSTV, like I said the other day, my heart is with the minister, because every Ghanaian would like to be able to afford getting a DSTV or one of the bouquets that will enhance the entertainment that we all wish for. Yesterday, I think the minister has issued or spoke about it on another station that if they don't bring their data for him to access, he was going to slap them with 10,000 cedis a day for default. And so it supposedly started yesterday. My issue with it is, they say you can get more beans with honey than vinegar. I think this should be a situation where maybe some people should put together, maybe one from, is it the Ministry of Government, the DSTV, multimedia, multi-TV, and maybe other Ghanaians who would also want to see the end of these results. Yes, my fear is if there's a law backing the minister should use the law. But I don't want a situation where we will do all these things and then it will come back to hunters that maybe might end up in a court, that judgment will be given in favor of the other party, that we, the same consumers, have to bear the cost. It is a little bit difficult comparing different countries with different tax regimes and different conditions. Yes, I agree. $88 a month is a lot of money for any Ghanaian to pay. I don't even think Bernard would like to pay that, even though now he's not a rich man. You know, so let's see how it will be a win-win situation for everybody. I want to see where there is an agreement and there's public talking, even if I have a meeting with you and then you go and sit somewhere and reveal that I had a meeting with you, which might not be something that people should know. You remember when I came, I think it was you or one of the stations that I even was trying to talk about the communique that I had with the minister. I sent him a text and the response that he gave. I don't know whether it's your station or another station, they said no, it is not proper. That's between me and the minister. So I have the view that this banter, okay, between DSTV and the Minister of Communication, we should look at it holistically. Does DSTV has a point or they don't? Okay, the minister too says he's done a research and he's engaged other African communication ministers or people involved in this multi-choice issue, and he thinks he has a case. But we don't fight these things in public because this is a corporate entity, number one. Their brand is at stake, not just in Ghana, maybe any other places. And I've been told that what the minister is demanding is also might not be fair because you are asking a company in Ghana to reveal its counterpart in, let's say, Nigeria or Sierra Leone as to their tax built out. And it is not released because we Ghanaians, we were smart enough to demand that if I pay my bill, you should tell me the amount of the tax component that I'm paying. So if you pay your bill in Ghana, it tells you how much taxes you've paid. I've been told that some of the other countries, they didn't need that, so they don't show the tax components. So the whole thing, we should approach it very holistically. We do other businesses with companies from South Africa. It's not just multi-choice. MTN, the largest mobile company in Ghana, doing wonderful things. They even agreed with the minister that they would increase their broadband a little bit, but to me, it's still expensive. So just like Oliver Twist, I would say, can I please have some more? So if the minister can get me more, I say, hooray, but I don't want a situation whereby either through him, he will cut the multi-choice, the DSTV people license and they'll be off air, or through him again, DSTV too will decide that they are packing up and they are leaving Ghana. Because it looks like, especially it started yesterday, where Martin Liverpool beat their counterpart 4-2, which is the EPL, which is the reason why a lot of people subscribe to the high cost of DSTV. Apart from the EPL league. If you ask me my opinion, there's nothing fantastic about what DSTV shows, because everything is repeated, old, and to me, I don't even understand why the price is that high. I agree, but I think negotiations will bring us to a better place for everybody to. The minister will have, some of what he wants. DSTV too will have some of what they also want.
I think
so that we have. Hello.
I think if people pay more of their TV license, I'm sure GTV will be able to start showing you the EPL, so you can see Liverpool beating whichever team it beat.
You sound like this people in Ghana who are doing business, and they will tell you that because prices have gone up. Okay, even the utility companies in Ghana, right? They will tell you that in their proposal to PRC, somewhere along, you see that they've actually in that they want to do building offices, building other places, which has nothing consumers should pay before they put it up. That's how you sound. If GBC wants to give us EPL, let's GBC bring. You see,
we'll start with the Ghana Premier League. We'll start with the Ghana Premier League. Then when we are done, we'll go to.
I beg you. Let's not go to Ghana.
Okay, let's come in here. Let me give each of you a take. Kofi, I'll come back to you. We have just a few minutes left, but each of you a take on this multi-choice issue. Bernard, I'll start with you.
Let me say, I'm not encouraged at all by Kofi. How can you be saying your team Liverpool? Still in the colonized form. You should be talking about your team, Calibi Sporting Club, Carrera, Toko, Accra House of Folk. These are the teams that we should be. Stance. If you don't patronize what you have, you don't expect someone to come and patronize it for you. And so therefore, it doesn't matter how unattractive ours is. The best way is that we must begin to feel and enjoy it so that others can also begin to see the need to enjoy it. This thing about Ghanaians belonging to foreign clubs and buying T-shirts, and some of them are even paying dues. And none of them will pay any dues for any of our local clubs.
I paid dues to Asante Kotoko.
I'm happy with you. And so let us, all of us, rethink. The only way we can become the better persons that we want to be is that we must patronize what we have. And I stated this even in relation to the fund that is established for our heroes, that we must begin to look in what belongs to us. I think that is the point I want to make. Second, I stand fully with Sam George. It doesn't make sense whatsoever for differentials in the pricing. And in so doing, the minister has said that bring us a detailed analysis, including the tariffs and the taxes that you pay, to the government of Ghana, so that we'll be able to determine what is it that is making the prices too high. That too you cannot send to the minister. I was whispering to my colleagues that the 10,000 daily is too small, given how much DSTV earns. But I've just been told that it is the beginning of many sanctions that could be imposed. But question I ask is, what extraordinary thing is DSTV doing that Ghana Broadcasting Corporation cannot do?
Okay.
Why are we reducing ourselves to uselessness? Look, the state of Ghana cannot do these things. What does it take? You see, when it gets to this point, I love the socialist countries. You bring in your capital thing and they realize that you are muscling and squeezing out the little from the poor people. They will establish competition. They will create their own. So when Google decided that they were going to take control, hey, my Chinese people came with their petal maps. Right? You compete here, we also have our option. When you brought in your WhatsApp, they created their WeChat. So it is important that the states like ours must also engineer these things. And I feel that GTV and Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has everything.
Hamza?
Well, I think that Senior Comrade has said almost everything. But could you, for us, it is in line with the government's agenda to reset. And fortunately for us, the Honorable Sam George is one of the most forthright ministers you can find in this administration. And the technological space, even not just the government architecture, but the national security architecture of the country. And to have someone like him leading it is encouraging. And I associate myself fully with the concerns raised by Senior Comrade Bernard Mona, to the effect that maybe the time has come for us to start paying attention to the state broadcaster. I know as a matter of fact that the many inefficiencies we speak about is not necessarily emanating from workers here. It is also because of the activities of the political class. We also saw what happened when allocations were made for the All African Students Game and how the money...
All African Games.
Yes, All African Games.
There's no more All Africa, it's African Games.
African Games, yes. And how the monies that were meant to be handled by GBC itself ended up being the subject of handle. So clear to look at the state broadcaster in a way that we can all be proud of. But when it comes to the sanctions that are announced so far, I totally agree to. I expected much more. But like we are told, it is just the beginning of many more to come. I have, as a matter of reverence to the directive of a minister for them to reduce prices, I have decided not to renew my package. And as I speak with you, I am not even tempted to do so, and I do not hope to do so even in the future.
I have joined you.
Absolutely. So
I think I will join you.
Yes, I think it is important for us. It is not just about reducing the prices. It also speaks so much to our sovereignty as a republic and our willingness not to allow ourselves to be taken over by multinational corporations and their profit. They did so in Liberia. They listened to the government and they reduced prices. In Nigeria, same was done. So I don't understand why they are unwilling to honor the directive of the minister responsible for communications. And I hope and pray. And I know as a matter of fact that our colleagues in the MPP are with us on this particular drive. And that is the beauty of the quest to protect our sovereignty.
I'll jump, Richard.
This issue.
And your colleagues in the PNC as well.
In the PNC. Interesting because I'm saying it more competitive. I'm saying it's interesting because you are in fact more competitive. You make Bernard come in. Yes. Henry, let's go. It's quite interesting and intriguing in the sense that I have been monitoring the scenario. I look at it. If you look at it on the holistic side, at least the pricing policy between Nigeria, Ghana, and then other countries. One may ask, what is it? Why that? Why that variance? But then I also look at it at the level of clientele, the subscribers. Nigeria, as of 2021, had over 11 million subscribers. Okay, they fought for a reduction. Okay, in pricing, and now because of the deviance of the company, they have reduced it to about 7.1 million people. About 5 million people have left the subscription to DSTV. So probably, if we can look at it holistically from the angle that the Nigerians adopted, because of the quantum of subscribers they had, the subscribers were what we call DSTV were saying that, look, in Nigeria, the market is large. Okay? Because in any business venture, the larger the market, the lower the price.
Just 1.2 million people.
Absolutely. Yeah, but exactly. Their prices are if you allow me to land, okay, I was trying to juxtapose this issue with Sierra Leone. If you look at the number of Ghanaians subscribed as against Sierra Leone, we are about 3 times this, but their pricing is equally lower than ours. So what then is the reason for what they are doing. Probably we need to delve deeper into the reason for them to tell us why this is if you try to use the value of the depreciation of the dollar and the CD against, I think that argument should not even hold appreciate. Then naturally, pricing should automatically come down. But that is not the case. Let us sit down, find out from them why exactly should this be. Is it fighting a multinational? It's a big problem. We must be very cautious and careful about that concept. You don't think it's so bad?
Okay.
You go.
Sorry.
I don't think that's
no. So when he say he doesn't agree with me on that concept, you see,
national cannot come and.
This is a good discussion. Remember, there are laid down procedures and conditionalities. They didn't just come.
I agree with you. We'll come in accordance with our laws and international treaties.
Not a visa promise you get that because you don't have the time.
No, I get back to you in the course of the week.
So what our advice is that your time is too short for the large number of panels.
Absolutely. I raised that concern last year. So is it? So you are getting live feedback, yeah?
Yes. So thank you.
Your bosses must listen and give you more time. But I think that it is a difficulty. The cost is prohibitive. So far as people want to think, I should say that there's an indictment of my good brother Kofi Kapito, whose agency must be more spirited in driving this. And even now, yes, instead of the government. And that's where I think I see my brother saying that it's a difficulty for the government to be frontal engaging this, because then on the other hand, you are driving for foreign direct investment and then you are doing this. But of course, it doesn't take away the government's ability to ensure that you operate here and must operate according to law. Absolutely. I think the minister's request is clear, that give us a breakdown that shows us your cost component, including what taxes you're paying. And if it is a tax, that's the problem, we'll look at it. But so if you're not able to do this, then I'm wondering what is preventing you from doing it. And that's where I agree with Bernard in saying that, yes, these daily sanctions are good, a good first step, punitive in the sense that you are delaying the system unnecessarily. It could be higher, I think, as the days go and they cannot show up with a reasonable the cost component. I don't think that they're being fair to Ghanaians. People buy it, they don't even watch it. I mean, my village, I buy DSTV, I go there because I want to follow the news, and I go there once or twice a month and I buy it and I just leave and come to Accra, and they're just wasting this money, and it's too expensive. You understand? We have come to like it, we have come to depend on it. However, the content, whether we appreciate, we don't appreciate, you need it because there are one or two things in there that you like to watch, and so they shouldn't make it too expensive. I don't see why it is that expensive. Honestly, I don't see why it's that expensive. So you must look at it. And of course, I join with Bernard and Hamza in dealing with the GBC component. I've always been one to say that GBC has the standard, almost everything to drive this. I hear the last time some advert talking about pay TV licenses, and I'm wondering, who are we going to pay this TV license to? And why?
They have a short code.
They have that.
After the show, I'll let my team meet you and show you how to do. Especially for the one.
But I'm paying TV license to DSTV.
No, so you pay to GTV.
In this day and age, GTV has to be creative to be able to leverage, because there's a lot of money out there to be made to get GTV back to its former glory.
Thank you. And feedback, live feedback, well noted. I'm sure management and my team have taken notice of this. Thank you very much, viewers. As mentioned earlier, this program was proudly brought to us by the sponsorship of the Bank of Africa, Ghana Limited. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. The Bank of Africa Quick Fix Loan is a loan for individuals to help you with your fees, Bernard, your clutch. You can reach out to Bank of Africa for the Quick Fix to be able to solve whatever problems you are having. Thank you very much, viewers. We are likely to continue some parts of this discussion that we couldn't complete today next week. But continue discussing it in your homes, and have a wonderful weekend, and see you next week Saturday.